Hello, I'm the Godless Engineer, and guess what today is? That's right, it's fucking Fallacy Friday. First fallacy on our plate today is commutation of conditionals. Commutation of conditionals is a fucked up way to reason shit. It's also known as the fallacy of the consequent and converting a conditional. In this fucked up bit of reasoning, you take an if-then statement and then you flip the two propositions in it as a way to make some kind of validating fucking conclusion based off that. So are you fucking confused yet? Let's look at an example in order to explain it better. If bananas were created by God, then Ray Comfort isn't a fucking idiot. Therefore, if Ray Comfort isn't a fucking idiot, then bananas were created by God. Fortunately for us, Ray Comfort is a fucking moron. But more importantly, do you see how you can't reverse the fucking statement and then claim it as fucking true? Even if Ray Comfort isn't a fucking imbecile, that doesn't make God any more real. To further explain why this fucked up bit of reasoning is, well, fucked up, you have to understand some logical operations with the commutative property. The logical operations of and, or, and other such connectives, they can be switched in a logical argument or in a mathematical statement. So if we just take a look real quick at these mathematical equations, I know some of you don't like seeing the alphabet thrown in with your math. So how about we use some actual numbers here and we'll be able to understand them better. So as you can see, 1 plus 2 equals 3 just as much as 2 plus 1 equals 3. So with the commutative property, you can basically switch your two statements and it's going to mean the same thing. Let's take a look at an example using some logical statements. The amazing atheist fucked himself with a banana. And Ray Comfort loves bananas. Now, this statement means the exact same fucking thing as Ray Comfort loves bananas and the amazing atheist fucked himself with a banana. Let's take a look at another example of this fucked up bit of reasoning. If Kirk Cameron's Saving Christmas was a good movie, then Christians wouldn't have fucking hated it. Therefore, if Christians didn't hate the fucking movie, then it would be a good movie. Do you see how fucked up that is? I mean, Christians loved God's Not Dead. I mean, they love it so much they still feel the need to plague our news feeds on Facebook with images promoting the movie. It was so good to Christians, in fact, that it made enough fucking money to warrant a sequel. I'm just going to go ahead and toss out my suggestion for the title right now. God's Not Dead 2. Rehashing the same shit again like the new fucking arguments. This also happens to be one of Aristotle's 13 fallacies, commonly called the fallacy of the consequent. Sometimes affirming the consequent is mistakenly attributed to A-Dog here, but what he describes actually sounds a lot more like commuting the conditional rather than affirming a consequent. Now let's look at a decent argument that's not structured to fuck you over big time. If Ray Comfort is an idiot, then he believes the shit that's coming out of his mouth. Therefore, if Ray Comfort doesn't believe the shit that's coming out of his mouth, then he's not a fucking idiot. Ray Comfort spouts some dumbass fuckery. That's for sure. It's reasonable to call this man an idiot if he actually believes the shit that he's spouting. Especially after telling Stephen Hawking to shut his fucking trap about God. Now, if he doesn't actually believe the shit that he's spitting, then that means that he's just a genius con man that's playing off the hopes and prayers of people that are less fortunate than him. And that is a completely different video. Next up on the fallacies that are sure to fuck you over is denying the conjunct, also known as the fallacy of the disjunctive syllogism. In this fucked up bit of reasoning, you take the propositional statements that are connected by an and operator, you negate one, and then you try to make a validating conclusion about the other. Let's take a look at a fuck nugget of an example. Ken Ham can't be both fucking his mom and as intelligent as he thinks. Ken Ham isn't as intelligent as he thinks. Therefore, he must be fucking his mother. Now, Ken Ham isn't as intelligent as he thinks, but that doesn't mean that he's fucking his mom. At least, I hope he's not. You can't just fucking assume that one of your premises is false and then automatically that makes your other premise fucking true. That's not how it goddamn works. Let's take a look at an example of how it's supposed to work. Ken Ham can't be both intelligent as he thinks and a creationist. Well, he's a fucking creationist. Therefore, he's not as intelligent as he thinks. Regardless of whether this motherfucker is actually intelligent, the mere fact that you're a creationist means that you're not as intelligent as one may think. Now, this isn't fallacious in denying the conjunct sense because, as you can see in our middle statement there, we're actually affirming one of the premises. And that way, we can make a validating statement about the other premise. Shall we take a look at another example? You can't hate homosexuals as much as you do and be so far in the closet that you fucking found Narnia. You don't actually hate homosexuals that much, like a goddamn psychopath. Therefore, you must be so far in the closet, you found Narnia. Now, I'm fairly certain that this near serial killer isn't actually in the closet. So it's fairly reasonable to assume that this guy, who's just a Dexter wannabe, actually just hates the LGBT community so fucking much that he wants to kill them all. Or, well, sorry, let me rephrase that and correct myself. He wants other people to kill them all for him because that's how he thinks a civilized fucking society works. Now, for improper transposition. Transpositions in general can be validating, but if you do them improperly, you could really fuck yourself over and make yourself look like a dumbass. When you properly transpose an argument, what you do is you take two propositions, you negate them, and then you flip them some bitches. People are most known to do this half-assed, by only negating the propositions and then trying to make a validating conclusion based off of just the negation of them. So it basically looks like the two propositions and then just not those two propositions. Let's take a look at an example of this so that we can better understand it. If I perceive problems with evolutionary theory, then that means that it must be wrong. Therefore, if I no longer perceive problems with the theory, then it must all of a sudden be correct. Now, as you can see, the fuckery kind of starts in the first statement. But just because you perceive a problem with evolutionary theory doesn't mean that there actually is a problem with evolutionary theory. And the same works in reverse. If you don't perceive a problem with evolutionary theory, it doesn't all of a fucking sudden become correct. You shouldn't conclude that evolutionary theory is wrong just because you can't fucking grasp it. I guess using this logic, cars only work because I know exactly how a car works. But I don't know exactly how my car works, so does my car even work right now? Do you see how fucking stupid that is? Let's take a look at another bit of fucked up reasoning. If you don't believe in God, then you can't run for office in the United States. Therefore, if you do believe in a magical sky wizard rapist that monitors your thoughts constantly, then you're fit to run for office. Now, the first statement is factually fucking false, but what we want to focus on here is how they half-ass transpose the argument by not flipping the sumbitches. You can't be lazy as fuck with these type of statements, or else you're really gonna fuck yourself over. So what does a validating transposition look like? Well, let's take a look. If you're a creationist, then you deny basic fucking science. If you don't deny basic fucking science, then you're not a creationist. Now, let's break this fucker down to really understand what went fucking right. Take the first part, for example. It's pretty fucking common knowledge that if you're a creationist, then you believe that a magical sky wizard created everything 6,000 years ago, and therefore you deny basic science. You deny a whole list of fucking science in order to believe that. So it's completely reasonable to assume that if someone doesn't deny these basic fucking things, then they're probably not a creationist. I want you to really see how we negated both of the propositions in the first statement, and then we flipped them sons of bitches in the second statement. That is what makes a validating fucking argument for this particular fallacy. Well, those are your 3 fallacies for today. I hope that you guys really enjoy this. I hope you learned something. I learned a lot in doing this. I usually have to spend several hours really going over this and making sure that I have these fallacies correct, with my research. So I'm actually learning a whole lot more than I thought I would in doing this. So I hope you guys are too. Of course, I'm really doing this just to familiarize myself a lot better with logical fallacies, but I figured some people might want to come along on the journey with me. Please go down below, subscribe if you want to follow this series as well as my other series here on my channel, including my Does Jesus Exist series, as well as just general videos that I have been uploading lately. Don't forget to like and comment down below. If I fucked up on a fallacy, I want to know about it and I want you to tell me down below. Like it so that I know to keep on doing these motherfuckers. So, I hope everybody has a wonderful day, and I hope you all had a very, very Merry Christmas, or Hanukkah, or what the fuck ever you celebrate. Happy holidays! And as always, don't forget to... So,
right there. Fallacy Friday! Fallacy Friday!
I'll get to work on that song.